This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore. Over the course of my time as a YouTube political commentator, as a personality on YouTube, I have talked a great deal about Donald Trump and his grifting of the American people, of his taking advantage of his office of presidency. And I've got a lot of pushback. A lot of ding-dongs in the comments. Well, he's donated his salary to charities, and he's the only president who hasn't taken a salary. All of that is nonsense. He did indeed not take a salary, but now we're learning just the extent to which he profited off of the presidency. It's not even that he's continuing to profit off the presidency, which he absolutely is. Multiple golf courses of his are illegally using the presidential seal to profit. He's named his bar in his stupid Trump Tower in New York 45 whiskey and wine, or he's selling $45 glasses of whiskey in homage to his presidency. The 45th president of the United States of America. And now we're learning, I'm going to play a clip from CNN of Pulitzer Prize-winning investigative journalist David K. Johnston, who has followed the money, who has calculated that it is very likely over $1 billion that Donald Trump has profited from his presidency. And this is why it doesn't matter that he gave his $400,000 a year salary away, because you can give away $1.6 million if you're going to, in turn, make 1.6 million. I don't know if I said it right. If you're going to be gaining $1.6 billion, 1,000 times more. It's all optics. It's a shell game with Donald Trump. Always has been. Watch this clip with David K. Johnston and Brianna Keeler.
Tell us how much Donald Trump profited and how you were able to get to this number.
Well, Donald Trump had to disclose his finances as president. All top federal officials do. Now, several of them filed very incomplete and misleading forms. Donald, in fact, asked through his lawyers if he could file his financial disclosures without signing under penalty of perjury. And he was told, no, you have to sign under penalty of perjury. And of this more than $1.6 billion that flowed across the books of the Trump Organization and to Donald after expenses for those businesses, before expenses for those businesses, a lot of it came from the taxpayers. Donald did everything he could to make sure that the taxpayers were putting money into his businesses, hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah, it's fascinating. The Secret Service, as you mentioned, was charged a regular rate during the pandemic at hotels that were largely unoccupied. And, you also talk about just before the 2020 election and then on his way out the door with Stop the Steal fundraising, he rakes in $500 million. He spends less than $9 million on lawyers. The rest of that money he can use how?
Oh, he can spend it on himself. And I expect that once he is indicted in Manhattan and perhaps other jurisdictions, a lot of that money will go to criminal defense lawyers.
Really fascinating. One of the examples that you highlight in his Stop the Steal profiteering that really stands out, I know that's why you focused on it, has to do with someone named Stacey Blatt of Kansas City. And this is someone who, as you mentioned, was ripped off by Trump's unchecked the box swindle. So you said, well, in hospice care, Blatt heard Rush Limbaugh tell his radio audience that the Trump 2020 campaign needed money urgently. Blatt gave $500, half of his monthly income, via WinRed, a commercial enterprise that Trump used to process gifts. Over the next month, Trump's campaign tapped Blatt's bank account 6 more times, taking the dying man's last $3,000.
Now listen, all of that is stuff that I've covered over the course of many years reporting on Donald Trump. Even the fraudulent manner with which they're fleecing their supporters with automatic charges, monthly charges toward the campaign, not just toward the campaign, but for his legal defense fund, which can just be spent. Grift, grift, grift. That's what all of this is about for Donald Trump. It's about making that money. And it doesn't matter if he takes advantage of his own followers, fleecing the American people, violating the Emoluments Clause of the United States Constitution, a document he swore to protect and defend against all enemies, foreign and domestic, even in the face of him being that domestic threat to the Constitution. Gross. What do you think, though? I'd love to know. You can call, leave me a brief voicemail, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me, daily@dollemore.com. I appreciate you guys. Follow me on social media. I'm at Dollemore just about everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Not doing much there, but if you're on TikTok, give me a follow. And if I bring you value, and only if I do, if you don't have to budget it in, if it's not a stress or a strain for you financially, please consider supporting my work here on the platform. You can click the join button below this video, become a channel member for about $1.99 a month, or you can head on over to patreon.com/IDoubtIt podcast. Both those are great ways to support and produce what I do here and let you be a part. I appreciate you very much. I'll see you next time. Until I do, be genuine. Take care of one another.